Good evening, everyone. Once again, it is so good to be with you on this Thursday. I am your inspirational pilot. Yes, I am. And I am looking so forward to tonight because we have an exciting program for you tonight. You know, one of the things in life I believe is so crucial as we, go along our individual journeys is to ask the question, who can I be of value to? Who can I help? Who can I lend a helping hand to? I believe that if we go through this life and we have not helped anyone or we have not added value to anyone, we have not served anyone, I believe we have wasted our time. And so tonight, friends, I have someone on here, and as a matter of fact, it's not someone personal. I don't know him. I saw a video of him. He works for an organization called Air Care Alliance, and he's going to show us as pilots how we can make a difference as individuals, as pilots. And I believe, friends, that you will be encouraged by what you are going to hear tonight. And then after that, we have an inspirational guest. He is going to come on and share with us by way of leadership, how we can be leaders in our industry. And so, friends, stay tuned because we got a great program for you.
Today, I'm joined by Mark Hansen. He's flown more than 400 flights for some great organizations, donating his time and resources to helping others. Mark, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. First, we like to start just talking about our backgrounds, what we've got going on behind us. And for me, I know you're up in the Northeast. I decided to choose a picture from the one GA flight I've done up in the Northeast. This was with my coworker, Brent. He lives in Portland and just took me up flying one day when I was up there on a work trip. And it was absolutely fantastic. Such a beautiful part of the country that you're in.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you. Doing a lot of the volunteer flights gives you an opportunity to fly to interesting places like, Portland, Maine, Presque Isle, Maine, and really up and down the East Coast. And you get scenes like this. It's really great.
It is. Tell us what you got going on behind you.
Oh, so this is one of the passengers I fly fairly frequently from northern Maine to Boston for treatment. She's been going since she was an infant. And a great story. They'd have to drive 8 hours each way to get to treatment. Mom would probably have to take off 2 to 3 days worth of work. In this way, they sometimes don't, miss a day. So it's very important, to help out these kind of people that have really no other choice because there's no scheduled service from northern Maine to Boston.
Absolutely. And that's, you're here today representing the Air Care Alliance. Can you tell us about that organization and some examples of the organizations they advocate for?
Sure. Air Care Alliance is a network of volunteer pilot organizations across the U.S. And volunteer pilot organizations do everything from medical flights to cargo flights to animal flights like animal rescue to turtles. I mean, that's one of my favorite stories. And we go out nationally and advocate for all these local organizations. A few of them are national, but the majority are regional organizations with volunteer pilots. So it's fun going out and meeting new people in different parts of the country and raising awareness. And it's really about raising awareness. It's surprising how few pilots know that they can volunteer their time. And equally for non-pilots, there's even fewer that understand that these services are available. I do get choked up every now and then talking about kind of this stuff. But once you start giving, you realize that just the act of giving, the goodwill aspect of it, really improves the lives of the people that you're moving around. And even animals. I mean, they're very, they're sometimes, about as appreciative as you can get. But people in particular, they just can't believe that someone's donating this much time and cost into getting them to their medical care. It just doesn't, happen elsewhere, it seems like, in the medical community. So
exactly.
Right. And I mean, the same thing with human flights. I mean, you're dealing with people that are in various states of health, and you want to make sure they have a good flight. And they all have to be ambulatory, meaning there's a medical release that is signed that they're stable enough to fly in a general aviation plane. So that's important. We don't want pilots to get their itis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the good news is, in general, the volunteer pilot organizations are a very safe community. Everyone is going out of their way to make sure that they're attending to the safety of flight.
Absolutely. Yeah. If there's a pilot watching today who hasn't thought about this kind of flying in the past but wants to get involved, what would you tell them?
Number one, go to our website, aircarealliance.org. There is an area there where you can click on volunteer, and there's an application. The application will be pushed to regional volunteer organizations around you, so you don't have to do anything else. If you're a person that wants to request a mission, there's also a button for that. You fill out an application that will also get pushed automatically to the appropriate organizations. We also offer a directory of organizations, so you can put in your state and you can see who's in your state that's volunteer pilot organizations.
Well, friends, there you have it. If you are interested, you're a pilot, you're interested, you want to get involved, please, I know they gave the information there. Contact them, let them know that you are very much interested because you too want to make a difference in somebody's life. The best thing that we can do as pilots, or whatever it is that we decide to do in life, is to help another person. And now, friends, we have one more for you, and I believe you are really going to be inspired by this interview. So here we go as we welcome on the show my friend Will. Welcome once again to our Thursday night motivational session with Flight to Freedom. I am your inspirational pilot, Jenks here, and we are so excited to be with you this evening. And we are tonight. We are blessed to have with us Wilbert. That's his name, but I call him Will. I always called him Will. He is a leadership trainer, expert there, and I thought that he would be a blessing and an inspiration to each and every one of us here tonight. So, Will, it's good to have you here with us tonight, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, to even be considered, for something like this, to speak out to your audience. And my hope is that I can add some value.
Oh, listen, you look great, man.
I appreciate it.
You always look great. I love this. I love the style.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what is it that you do?
Well, just a little bit about myself. I'm just a young, ambitious professional who is just seeking my own purpose, and I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs actually go through, is trying to find their purpose in life. What are some things that they feel that they can add to society? And I'm happy to say that God has used me in a mighty way for me to be able to add value in the form of leadership development, spotting other folks that have leadership qualities and being able to help them through that journey. Now, anyone who's been or occupied a position of leadership understands that that's something that you'll consistently go through a lot of the growing pains, dealing with the folks that follow you, right? Learning about human behavior and how to effectively address that, communicate, and empathy, so many different things. And if there's anything that I like doing more is being able to help a person through that process and really understanding not only the fundamentals, but really diving deeper into progressing as they ascend deeper into their leadership, either it's a role or even if it's just the position that they occupy, because I don't necessarily believe that a person can only occupy a position of leadership professionally. It could also be personally as well. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm a parent, I'm a husband, but again, as I mentioned, a leadership professional in that sense.
Oftentimes it takes a while for people to come into their own, if you will, or into their niche, if you will. Yeah. How did you know that this is exactly what you wanted to do?
Honestly speaking, I could say it was a seed that was planted a couple of years back. I used to work for an organization, and one of the one of my colleagues, actually, she was the director of education and learning for that company, specifically for that division that I was working for. And I can recall one time she came to me and she asked, because she was trying to put together like this ongoing series. It was called Thinking Thursday. She was putting together this ongoing series, and she needed facilitators to come and to facilitate trainings on various topics that would help other staff that played a specific role within that division. And I can recall that she asked me to put together a training on outreach and engagement. Now, at first, I was a little nervous about it, but I took the plunge forward. I'm always one to step forward and take the challenge, and I did really well. I was excited to say that I did really, really well, and it was something that just really resonated with me. After the training was complete, she came and she said to me, "Have you ever thought about doing a TED Talk?" She was like, "I can definitely see you doing something like this. You did an exceptional training." And of course, word got out. She was bragging about how well I did. And that was something that I saw myself. So I was very, very excited to see how well I was able to do. Naturally, I'm an extrovert, so I like to speak. I'm okay in front of a crowd. And so for her to actually see that potential and tap into it and plant that seed in me of being someone who's on a stage, who's providing training or some type of keynote address or something of that nature, it sparked something in me, and that's been something that I've been pursuing ever since. And then when I came to discover the John Maxwell Group, that's when it really came into fruition.
Wow. So then, what would you say is the greatest satisfaction you get knowing that you made a difference in somebody's life?
Well, like any teacher, and I've heard a couple of teachers say this before, when they can see in their student's face that aha moment, that moment where it really sank in, something that they've been either struggling with or something that they've been trying to learn, and the teacher was able to speak their language in a sense, right, and really help them get from confusion to full-on understanding. It's that aha moment, and it's the same for me. It's something that I always look for. I'm not one of those trainers that just communicates to a person. I really focus on connecting with my audience, really understanding what's their language, what they need to hear, what it is that they're looking to take away as a sense of value from that particular training. And I work tirelessly until I get to that place. And when I can see that look on their face, like they're leaving that training or they're leaving that coaching session or even that keynote address feeling fulfilled or feeling like they're walking away with value, I could say that's the most fulfilling experience for me.
Wow. When just hearing you talk, I get the sense that this is something that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, it aligns with my purpose. I mean, funny thing is, and I share this story, often with folks that ask me, about, how did I get started? But honestly speaking, the first time I was ever asked to get up on a stage and to speak or to give some type of a speech, I believe I was 6 years old. I was in kindergarten, and I gave the "I Have a Dream" speech.
I have a dream.
And I can recall there were several other students as well that had, different parts of that speech. Of course, I didn't remember it all by myself, but when they got to me, I was the only student who was able to recite his part without any help.
Wow.
And it was just so natural for me. It was so natural. And I believe the second time after that, I was asked to preach in church, and I was 12. And then it just became a continuous thing. So it's in alignment with my purpose. It is who I am. I enjoy just adding value to others and being able to pour into them in areas where they would like to develop and grow.
Yeah. So, you said leadership development. Now, I know that leadership development is one of those areas where you have various myriads of people perhaps doing the same thing. Today, if you go on YouTube, if you go on Facebook, you go on platforms such as these, you find people doing, talking about leadership development or some form or aspect of leadership. So my question to you is this, and as our viewers are listening, what separates you from others who might provide similar services as you, and why should they choose your service if you were to offer that to them?
Well, yeah, if I were to offer my services to a person, the reason why I feel someone should move forward with that commitment is I think it all goes back to my mission statement, and I really focus on providing a non-conventional style of training, coaching, and keynote speaking that really provokes thought, commitment, inspiration, and action, right? And that's what it's all about. Because it's one thing to just speak to a person, as I alluded to earlier. It's another thing to inspire that person, but inspire them to take action, because that's the difference maker right there, right? Sometimes you can walk into a training, you hear a person speaking, and you kind of get that feeling like, yeah, this person is just good at speaking. That's their talent, that's their gift. But to really move a person into action is a whole different. It's a different skill set, right? And that's what separates leaders from people that want to be leaders, right? Is the ability to really influence. It's the ability to really influence, but also inspire, but to move a person to action. Not using your position, right? Not using protocols or processes or procedures to kind of force a person who is in your charge to do something, but really using inspiration and positive influence to move a person in a direction. So I feel like that's the unique value proposition that I bring to the table. And in all reality, anyone that comes to any one of these platforms, that's what they're looking for. It's not just to be inspired, but to be inspired and take action.
Yeah, I'm thinking about two things. For number one, the late Maya Angelou said, something to the fact that people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite quotes, man. I mean, you ask yourself that kind of question: how do people feel after being in my presence? And that's what I was thinking about when you were speaking. And another thing too, I think about Deion Sanders and the impact he's making in the life of those students. Last Saturday night, he was playing. There was a game, and I remember a young fellow. I guess he wasn't really up until that point, he really wasn't having a good game. And so Deion, I've never seen a coach do this, but Deion actually brought him over, did not yell at the brother. But what he did was he whispered. I mean, you could hear him say, "I love you, bro." And he put his arms around him. And man, I'll tell you, man, I believe he was one of the guys who caught that tying touchdown. He went out there and did the best. Deion was able to motivate him. And so as you were speaking, that is what I got from that, being able to impact them, not just adding value, like you said, not just influencing them, but also adding value. And we do that by serving. And there's, I believe also, and you could probably attest to this, people know when you are just in it for the game, and they know when you truly care about them.
100%. And they give more. They give more when they're able to tell the difference, right? I was reading this book. I'm actually conducting a mastermind on it, and one of the chapters that we were focusing on, it spoke about how there are different types of followers, right? Different type of staff, and then you have your guys that are very, very motivated, that'll do anything for you at the drop of a hat, but you also have those folks that are just enough employees, right? And that's what you'll typically find under those folks that are in leadership positions that essentially only use their position to move people forward, or not as genuine around the aspect of truly serving the ones that are following them, right? Because they do just enough to keep their job. They do just enough not to get fired. But the person who is truly serving the ones who are following them, truly serving the people who they directly report to them, those folks will live up to your expectations, right? They will live up to your expectations. They will always go over and beyond. They're the ones that are giving you 110%. They're the ones that are going the extra mile with you. You know, the Bible teaches us that if anyone wants to be great,
let him serve.
Let him serve. Let him serve, right? If he wants to be first, he has to be last. At the end. He has to be last, right? So I think that's the blueprint for us all. You know? So if we truly want to be great, we need to be able to serve, and that's what I truly focus on, is servant leadership and not positional leadership, if you will.
Yeah. So then, describe your ideal client or clients.
Sure.
Their characteristics, professionally and mentally.
Sure. So my ideal clients, I like to work with individuals who are motivated, you know, who are driven, who see a need first and foremost. I think that's key. I think that's important, because when you're able to see a need, you show up differently. You're looking for something. So that means that you're open-minded. You are ready to receive what it is that you're getting ready to hear. You know, you're seeking something. I also work well with individuals that have a growth mindset, right? They're willing to learn. They're ready to learn, and they're open to different perspectives and different avenues and different ways that they could be coached or trained and things of that nature. So currently, right now, I'm working with a couple of different organizations, and what I feel makes this relationship what it is the fact that they understand the value. They understand the value of leadership. They understand that there's a difference between leadership versus management, right? And because of that, that helps them to show up differently. I can recall when I initially had that first conversation with the contact person who I was getting ready to get into a contract with. And when she asked me about, you know, leadership development training, she first just said, well, because I typically go through the intake process. What are some of your biggest challenges? What are some of the things that you're looking to accomplish, and so on and so forth? And one of the things that she mentioned to me, she said, well, you know, there's these day-to-day challenges around how to effectively handle, you know, staff behaviors and communicate and so on and so forth. And I had to kind of take a step back, and I asked her, I said, are you looking to just put a Band-Aid over the problem, or are you looking for transformational change?
Boy, you go, man.
Right? Because that tells me where we are.
Totally
that tells me if
different.
we're going to be a good fit, right? Because if you're just looking to put a Band-Aid, sure, I can take your money, right? Easy payday, not a problem. I can easily put together a training. I can come do what I need to do for a couple of hours, and then I'll leave, and that's the end of it. But that doesn't mean that the problem gets eradicated, because we truly have to understand that the things that hold us back from achieving our goals are three things. All right? It's habits, fears, beliefs. Okay? Habits, fears, beliefs. These are the three things that always hold us back. The way we think, the things that we do, and the internal fears that we have. So when she was able to truly understand that really transformed her thinking to now look at this from a perspective of, I want long-term transformational growth and not just a quick fix. And because of that, that opened up more opportunities for me to continue to keep pouring in. So overall, just to kind of sum up the answer to that, it's really a person who can truly understand and see their need right off the bat, who can see their need, but also open-minded to exploring different options, but understanding that leadership and just the development piece of it is transformation. It's not just a one size fits all. It's not a quick fix, but it's really focusing on the transformation pieces.
Oh my goodness, man. This has been so transformational. Even tonight, even with the little bit that we got, for me, it has been soul transformation. Will, I have known you now for a while, and I have seen the growth. I've seen the level of commitment that you put into this. And I know that, and I can say 100% that with you, it's not just about, and you just explained it there, it's not just about getting your name out there, but it's really about transforming people's lives. And you are certainly doing that day after day, day in and day out. So let me ask you this, man. Let's say somebody wants to use your service, right? And I'm gonna put your website down here so people can see it. Besides the website, are there things that you're working on just to try to get it out there, or any other social media platforms where people can find you, or for now it's just the website?
The website is just one avenue right now. If anyone would like to find me on any social media platforms, they can find me on Facebook. Just, look up my name, Wilbert Wesh, my full name. If they want to find me on LinkedIn, the same way, they could also find me there. But if someone wanted to reach out to me and really have some type, start up a dialogue and perhaps look into some of the services that I offer, or probably get into a deeper conversation, they can easily email me at my email, which is wweche@willfulchange.com. All right. So again, that's first initial, last name at willfulchange2ls.com.
All right, and we have it right here on the screen for you as well, so that you can go ahead and put that in your mental pad or anywhere else that you can put it, so that you'll remember it. Will, listen, thank you. Again, it says Wilbert, but I'm just so used to to Will. But listen, man, thank you so much. Really do appreciate. By the way, how's your dog doing, man?
He is doing well, man. He is doing well. The apple of my eye, man. I take good care of this guy. So
yeah, I'm proud of that. Listen, thank you so much. You have no idea, man. Just your presence here with me tonight, man. You have magnified this platform, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know how busy you are, but thank you for taking the time out, man, just to come and pour value into each and every one of us. Friends, listen, we do this every Thursday. It's not just about aviation. Yes, the aviation piece is nice, and you saw that a little bit earlier, but we also want to add value to you as well. That's why we're bringing on people who are making a change, a difference in life. They're impacting the lives of other people. And I thought that by bringing them on, that you would hear their story, and that you would know that just as they're making an impact, you too can make an impact as well. Until then, friends, we love you. Have a great evening. Can't wait to see you again, not in the cockpit, but right there in your living rooms. Take care, friends, and we'll see you next week.